Hi there, it's me again, your Lavanya. We are continuing our discussion on Sona, Saila, maalai. We have already seen an introduction about this book as well as about the author. Today we are going to start with the very first verse. Actually, it is not the verse, but it comes as a prayer song. And this prayer song is dedicated to Lord Ganesha, the elephant god, and it goes this way. Saduran எழில் சோன சயிலற்றுதிப்பன் மதுரமொழி அன்பர் மனமாம் குதிரை திரை கொண்டவன் என்று ஏத்தும் குறை கழல் கால் யானை திரை கொண்டவனை என் உள்ளத்தே கொண்டு. There's a lot of nitty-gritty stuffs in this particular verse, but as I said earlier, it is all about the language. So what we are going to talk about today, or what we are going to discuss about today, could be a little bit superficial to start with, but of course, as I said, if you want to really get the deeper meaning of it, I would strongly encourage you guys to learn the Tamil language and get to the roots of it. It's really a lovely song. Now let's look at the meaning of this. There's a starting statement called as Saduran. Saduran simply means someone who is in a very balanced state, without any prejudice, without basically an unbiased person. Why do we call the Almighty as an unbiased person? Because he doesn't have anyone who he favors or someone he hates. There is nothing like that. He always takes a neutral stance. That is why we call him as Saduran. Some more, when we look at it, when we talk about this particular quality or the characteristic, we also call it as blessing in disguise. We always must be looking from that particular aspect, because if you look at it, when we are going through a happy moment, of course we all will be very happy and we will not be even sharing this with anyone. But when we are going through a not so pleasant situation, that is where we will start to complain and we will start to whine about everything else. Now looking at it, if you talk about enlightened soul, when they are going through a difficult time in their life, the first thing they will think about is the God Almighty is giving them strength. He is the one who is guiding them through these rough waters. That is how they will be looking at the situations. Now, are we ready to inherit this particular characteristic? That is the first question we need to ask. So coming back to the statement called as Saduran, or the word called as Saduran, if you look at it, it's perfectly applicable for the Almighty, Lord Shiva. Why do we say that? Is because if you look at it, there is a piece of magnet. What is the ability of this magnet? There are a lot of needles around it where the magnet can actually rotate the needles. It can make the needles operational. But if you look at it, magnet is just stable in one particular position. But all the needles act according to the magnet's strength or the magnet's wish. It's exactly what we are looking at Lord Shiva as well. Lord Shiva is just there. Nothing can disturb him. Nothing can compromise him. He is just there in a very, very neutral stance. Everyone else around him is functioning according to his instructions. That is why it is called as a balanced form, and we call it as Saduran. The next one is Eril Sona Sailan. If you look at it, there are two ways to interpret this statement. When you say Eril, simply it means beauty. But when you talk about, since it is a mountain, we cannot just say beauty, but rather we can say the mountain which has grown tall and high, because Iruchi is one of the Tamil word which simply represents growth, which simply represents a rising above the horizon. So when you look at it, since we are talking about the mountain, we are also looking at it in such a way that it is growing leaps and bounds. When you want to see the mountain, you can see it from anywhere. That is the reason it is called as Annamalai. The literal meaning of Annamalai is the one that you cannot go near to. It's beyond our imagination. So that is why it is called as Eril Sona Sailan. Sona Sailan means the God in the form of a mountain, right? So he is in the form of a mountain, and he is so high and tall, and I am bowing in front of them. And my prayers go to him, my wishes go to him, my praises goes to him, my hymns goes to him. That is what he's talking about in the first line. You look at the second line, Madhura Mori. It simply means musical notes or musical quotes or something that you can sing in the praise of Lord Shiva. So when you talk about Madhura Mori, it means the songs that we are dedicating to Lord Shiva, which is nothing other than Tirumurai. So when someone is reading this Tirumurai, singing this Tirumurai, what happens is their mind gets into a control. Their mind is, you are able to control your mind by singing Tirumurai, and when you are controlling your mind, the mind is like a horse. We always call it, right, as valorous a horse, so that's a very simple comparison they talk about. So the horse is as strong. If you look at it, if we are able to control that horse, and if we are able to pay that as a tax to Lord Shiva, that is what this particular statement talks about. You see, when we are a responsible citizen in any community, we have to pay a tax, isn't it? When we talk about income tax, service tax, whatever we are talking about, there's a lot of tax varieties that we have to pay back. Why? Because we are enjoying certain benefits from the government. We are enjoying certain benefits from the land we live. So we are paying this in the form of a tax. Let's imagine this situation. Are we all not obligated to give back the tax to Lord Shiva? He is the one who gave us this body. He is the one who gave us this, whatever you're talking, the instrumentation that we are using as of today, the body, the physical happiness that we are going through, whatever we are enjoying around us, right from our house, our car, our plants and pets, and whatever we are talking about, everything is given to us by him. Are we not in a position to say thank you? When we say thank you, are we not obliged to pay back the tax? We should, right? That is what we are talking about in the second statement. If you look at it, we need to sing his praises. And when we sing his praises, our mind will get into control. When we are able to control our mind, that is the only tax we can pay to Lord Shiva. And those of you who have read Thiruvilayadal Puranam, you know very well Lord Shiva is well known for managing horses. When there was a pack of horses that he had to manage, what he did was, pack of wolves he converted to horses, and he was the one who brought them back to the king called Pandya king. That's a history that we talk about. So if you look at it, Lord Shiva has got experience in that. So when he has experience in controlling the horses, of course he can control our mind also. And then one step ahead, the author is going for this song. He goes one step ahead and he says, you know what? His son, the dad, is over there who's asking, or who's controlling the horses, and he's asking horses as a tax, which is our mind. You know about his son? His son is asking elephants as his tax. And if you look at it, in Tirumurai, there is a very interesting saying, something like the five senses that we have, right? The five senses, which is seeing, the power to see something, the power to smell something, the power to feel, the touch, all those, right? The five senses, those are equated with 5 elephants, because elephant is the most powerful animal in this planet. And if you look at it, it is very hard to control these 5 senses. Similar to that, it's very hard to control an elephant. So what they say is, looks like when you are a devotee of Lord Shiva, you control these 5 elephants and you have to surrender yourself to Lord Shiva. So that's what this particular song is also talking about. In a very simple meaning, it says that we do have 5 elephants within our body. The sun, who is Lord Ganesha, is able to control these 5 senses. When I'm able to control these 5 senses, my mind gets into control. Mind is a horse. Now the horse is going to be given to Lord Shiva only when I'm able to control the 5 senses, which is the elephants. Of course, there's a lot of, a story behind that. I'm not going into the story because most of the stories are very, very fictitious. So I don't want to go into that. But if you look at it on a superficial level, it's a very, very interesting saying to say, if you want to control your mind, the first thing you need to do is control your sense organs. When you control your sense organs, your mind will get into control. When you're able to control your mind, that is where you will start hearing the musical notes of Lord Shiva's dance. And this is one of the stage in yoga. When you talk about yoga, the highest level of yoga, you will be able to listen to the dancing steps of Lord Shiva. We have seen this in Tirumandiram. We have seen this in the 7th Tirumurai by Nambi Arurar, and also we have seen this in the life of Seraman Perumal Nayanar, who is one among the 63 saints who grew Saivam during the the Black Era. That's the time that all these gurus came in and they started advocating on the Saivism. So when you look at it, if we are able to control our mind, that is the best thing. And once we control our mind, which is not going to be easier, once we do that, that must be paid back to Lord Shiva. And once we do that, how are we going to do that? Only by singing praises on him. Such a lovely verse. I'll come back again with a very first song very soon. Until then, bye-bye.